friends, welcome back and welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OST as we return with the grand finals. Los Gran Finales here. It's been an intense night of StarCraft and we have our top two players. We have our TvT, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner we have his opponents. We have the other South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran. It is Percival. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you believe will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Let's go. Let us go. Now, when it comes to this match, when it comes to this series, ByuN is going to be coming in as the favorite player. I will say that Percival, he has been improving his TvT. I would say for a long time, TvT was his worst matchup, with TvP being his best matchup. But because Percival has been so active and he's been playing in so many tournaments, his TvT naturally has been improving. Again, especially amongst the Koreans, there's just, I mean, the Korean scene at the moment is dominated by Terran. There's a lot of Terran representation with Ryung, with Gumiho, with Maru, with Percival, with Cure, with Bunny. There's just a lot of Korean Terran right now, and because that, playing in so many Korean tournaments, you have to, over time you just naturally get good at TvT. You're just forced to practice it, forced to get more experience with it, and Percival's TvT has been slowly improving over the course of the past 12 months. Over the past 12 months it has been getting better and better, to the point where we have seen him take maps. We have seen him take maps and even take a series off of ByuN in the past as well. But he's got to bring his A game. He's got to bring his best to the table. Let's go. So now it is going to be double gas to open out of Percival. Percival opening up with a faster factory. Meanwhile, we have ByuN going Rax Expand, single gas opener, faster natural base. So ByuN is going for a more economic build. Meanwhile, Percival is going for a more tech heavy start instead. So safe start out of Percival's, take safe slash more aggressive. ByuN just more economic. With this, we have our roles. It is going to be Percival being the aggressor, ByuN being the defender. And we'll see what Percival can get done. So here's for his add-on swap. And Tussle go for the swap, going into reactored Hellions. You know what, ByuN, he's just chilling back at home. Again, limited vision, limited scouting. You don't want to lose your Reapers early, so we keep them at home. Both players are. Until we have built up something more. So far we just have a much more passive start. Now when it comes to Korean TvT, the openers may be more passive, but we do typically expect to see hyper aggression in the mid game, specifically when it comes to taking a third. When it comes to trying to expand and take a third base, that's when we should be getting in each other's faces. I say that we are loading into Winter Madness. This is a very large map, and if we were to slow things down and get into a longer macro game, it would be on Winter Madness. For now, do you have our Hellion drop? Hellion drop making its way into the main. ByuN does have his first Cyclone. And ByuN, he does react. So that's hit the Locon. Nice pick up. Breaks the Locon. Yeah, Percival busts into the mineral line. SCVs are going to get roasted. And so far, that's going to be 3-4 dead workers. Gets one more volley. Getting up to 6. Getting up to 7. 7 SCVs go down. Oh, but the Locon will get the medevac low. Doesn't get away. Doesn't get away. Nice pick up there by ByuN, but he will still lose 7 workers. Now we have a bit of a give and take here. Remember, the opener of ByuN was more economic. So ByuN, he naturally had a higher SCV count. Not anymore. What was meant to be a more economic opener, which was meant to give him a boost economically, no longer. No longer, as 7 SCVs go down, and Percival, he makes up for his more tech-heavy start. With that, Percival, he rushed into a third CC, so Percival takes the lead. He's got the better economy, has the better tech. Percival, he's up in Ravens. Percival should be able to defend, should be able to hold on. ByuN starts his own third CC on location instead. Okay, you have my attention. So the goal here for ByuN is to delay, is to contain and delay Percival for as long as possible and get his own third base up and running instead. Raven tries into the main, gets 2 SCVs. So let's get a couple of workers. You know, ByuN building up his double eBay, getting into his upgrades. First, where he does sneak out. But again, for now, we're just staying back at home. We're calming down until we can expand. It's going to be Biotank versus Biotank. No mech. Ravens are deflected. And ByuN, he's in position to scout, but he's not really in position to delay. There's only 2 Cyclones. Like, he doesn't really have a standing army here. But he's at least aware that Percival, he's aware of when he would expand. So Percival was floating over. And ByuN will spot this. Yeah, he's supposed to move out. So where it gets 2 Marines, gets eyes on the CC, and ByuN pulls away. And this building back up. We have a sensor tower, and we're slowing things down. Never mind. I assumed that ByuN was going to be more active when it came to trying to delay the third base, but he only had vision there. Couldn't really stop it. So it's just slowly building up on 3 bases. We have some drops being active, but for the most part, our players have incentive to just turtle. We're gonna be in for a long one, Pat. True, true. So far, lock-ons are being broken. Just have a bit of a trade or a bit of a back and forth. Both players just building up the equivalent armies here. We do have Viking production underway for Percival already. True, so he's already reacting at his Vikings. A lot of TvT comes down to anti-air. It comes down to air control specifically. The reasoning for this is, of course, tanks, they shoot farther they can see. You shoot farther. So having air control does assist with that. Instead of just being forced to scan non-stop. Percival drops in. Shouldn't find much damage here. ByuN's holding on. ByuN going for his own counterattacks. So is Percival. Oh, committing with his tanks, actually. His tanks are pushing. Very committed here from the blue Terran. ByuN, he's out of position, and he may be forced to cancel. Greedy move here by ByuN, getting a CC on location. Percival stims in, he wants the tank, and he wants the CC. And tank goes down, should force a cancel. Cancels, pulls away. Percival so far in a better position. Assuming he was, getting his own 4th. And 4th is floating over. ByuN, can he pounce on those tanks? Ah, not quite. Percival unloads in time. Does siege, does expand. Meanwhile, as ByuN moves out, we have Percival moving in. Percival does get a free tank. He gets 2. Oh, no shot. He gets 1, going for the other. Bailey will not get it. ByuN holds. And ByuN is distracted. Forced to pull away, but there is an opening here. You can see the majority of the tanks are at the 4th base. You can see the army likewise is positioned on the left-hand side as well. ByuN going straight for the 3rd. Here's the disable. Does disable, gets the Raven as well. Tanks do siege. And massive tank shots. The Marines are going down. Percival just out of position, and Percival, he will lose everything. In one fell swoop, ByuN, he breaks the main army, breaks the mineral line, and ByuN is here to end the game. Again, as you mentioned, there was just one massive opening here into the 3rd base. Percival, he was over here towards the 4th. Tanks able to siege up. Vikings trying to land. Okay. Percival, he will survive this. He will clean up the army, but it costs him 15 SCVs and most of his army. Yeah, brutal losses for Percival. Percival, he's down to 2 tanks, down to 20 Marines, he's down in Marines, down in tanks, and down in STVs, down in every aspect. And that's TvT. Sometimes one good fight can just win you the game. Tanks laid to siege, okay. But they do siege. Yeah, they still siege in time. Again, up until that moment, Percival, he was doing well. He was doing well for himself. But you can be down in supply, you can be down in army, but hey, if you can siege up first, if you can catch up in that position, I mean, that's what matters most. As you can see here. Yeah, massive tank shots. Marines, they try to break through. But Percival does not have enough here. He'll lose every single Marine, every single tank. The planetary can hold its own. Dragging the army into more tanks. He rotates once again. And he rotates over. Denies the 3rd base, starving Percival out. Ensuring that Percival, he cannot mine. May nodding over towards the planetary. And ByuN still moving in. Still does push in. Takes down the tank. Takes down, I believe, the final tank. We've got 2 more on the way. ByuN is going for the medivacs. Oh! Doesn't quite get him. And on one hand, yes, there are some comeback mechanics in TvT, but not against this kind of deficit. Like, Percival, he's coping a little bit here, holding onto his main base. Tank shots going up. ByuN dropping into the main, going for the production. Percival again fighting his heart out. Picking up 2 more tanks, doing whatever he can. With the Hubble Liberators as well. I mean, Percival, he's going to be able to hold on a little bit longer. Chasing out the army. But there we go. GG gets called. It is still too much, and ByuN will take game number 1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. ByuN does take a lead in the series. Again, winding it back, Percival honestly had a really impressive early game. He was able to hold his own, if not get a lead over ByuN with his Hellion Harass, with his 3rd base timing. Unfortunately, if you remember, Percival did lose his 4th base. Sorry, I should say that he even killed the 4th base of ByuN. But unfortunately, Percival was completely out of position. When it came to the main fight, when it came to the head-on engagement, we saw that Percival, he was mainly positioned at his 4th base. There was a massive opening at his 3rd, and ByuN went straight for it. He went straight for it. He was the first to siege and the first to punish the choke point that Percival had to get through to actually engage. So again, ByuN caught Percival out of position. GG. GG, well played. And now we're getting to game number 2. Going to be loading into Ruby Rock. Let's go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Terran, the Red Terran for Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have Zona. We have the other South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran. It is Percival. Go. As again, very impressive play by ByuN to be able to recover from a really rough position. ByuN was able to get his third base on location and, of course, build up his tank count, build up his bio. It wasn't just the outpositioning of his opponent, but the Ravens as well. He was able to disable the first tank, able to disable the opponent's Raven as well, so there were no counter disables. And in one fell swoop, ByuN was able to take it then and there without one fight at the third. The game still kept going for a little bit longer after that, but for the most part, that was the deciding factor of that game. And we'll see if Percival can tighten up and keep up with the movements of ByuN. That's the scary thing about TvT. As I mentioned before, you can be down in supply, you can be down in upgrades even as well, but if you can outposition your opponents, you can still win the game. You can still take better fights. So I'm just opening the window. It's very hot today. Again, we're encroaching summer. If not, I think we already hit summer, right? Am I crazy? Hold on. Summer's in a couple of days. Summer's in a couple of days here, so the heat is ramping up. Meanwhile, double gas open, double gas going for a faster factory here for ByuN, going for reactor Reaper Hellion. Okay, very aggressive start here from our red Terran. Meanwhile, Percival going for a more economic build. Interesting. Percival going for something more economic here on Ruby Rock is a bold move. It is risky. It is risky. Yeah, the heat has been ramping up, so casting with a closed door, it's the room turns into an oven. Like it, that's it. Sweating, man, sweating. Don't forget to hydrate. Look after yourselves. Look after yourselves. As ByuN again, he's just banking up his Reaper Hellion. Soon gonna be committing across the map. We'll soon commit. We'll see if Percival can hold his own. So here comes ByuN. With this, ideally, ByuN, he does want to try to catch out the initial Hellions, get into the mineral line, and he will deny mining at least. Mining is denied. Nice concave here by ByuN. Yeah, getting some splash damage. And he will take down the Hellions. Hellions are falling. One Hellion left. Every Hellion goes down. And better engaged by ByuN, and he will kill all these SCVs. Unfortunately, there's no Cyclone behind this. Boys are being pulled in. Losing up to 5 SCVs. 6 SCV kills here. 6 SCVs alongside the Reaper Hellion as well. Percival, he won't have enough to counterattack, and ByuN can walk away. He does pull back. So better start here by ByuN. Even though ByuN had a later expansion, he does cripple the economy of Percival. So ByuN, he makes up for that. Oh, and he's not done. Jesus, he's not done. Nowhere close. He's still moving out. He's rallying. He's going for like a quote-unquote borderline all-in. He's going for another tank, another Viking. He can just rally. He can just rally across the map and try to end the game. Okay, he does keep his Hellions back to repair. And he'll have a reinforcing tank to defend. Meanwhile, there's nothing. There's nothing here. There's a Raven. There's a single Raven. Hellions get into the mineral line. The workers are somewhat lining up, and they pull away. Workers pull away. Tank will defend. At the same time, tank gets across the map, focus down the auto turret, and there's nothing here. There's soon going to be 1 tank defensively. 2 Marines are on the way. But once again, ByuN denies mining at the natural. And ByuN is rallying. ByuN, he turns everything back around. He's dealt with the Hellions. Rallying across. Nice target firing on the tank. 1 more tank shot. Gets the tank. Tank goes down. And Percival, he has been broken. He has been broken. Again, just hyper-aggressive build here by ByuN. And Percival was being greedy on Ruby Rock of all maps. GG gets called, and ByuN takes a 2-0 lead. GG. A much more decisive game here by ByuN, but again, I'm a little bit shocked that Percival decided to go for a Rax Expand, specifically on Ruby Rock. We spoke about this, but Ruby Rock is one of the more, if not the most aggressive map in the map pool, very short rush distance by ground, so to go for an economic build on a small map, it's crazy. it was a bold move. It was a really bold move there from Percival. He did not get away with it. In the end, he was punished. It made more sense for ByuN to open up economically on White's on Winter Madness, but for Percival to do it here on Ruby Rock, he was punished. GG, well played. In the end, ByuN did snowball out of control. Unfortunately, Percival, he wasn't going for like a Cyclone follow-up. He was going to more Hellion, so he had a much more fragile army as well. And GG, well played. We're now getting into game number 3. Potentially the final game of the series. I'm hoping we get a back and forth. I mean, again, game 1 was solid. Like, again, I can see a world where Percival wins game 1 if he was able to scout the army movement of ByuN. If Percival relocates and repositions and defends his third, different story. Maybe even Percival wins that game. Like, again, Percival, he was doing well in game 1, but alas, he was punished early here in game 2, and now we're getting into game number 3. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran for Shopify. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the other South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran down in the series. He has to fight back here and now to make a series out of this. It is a Percival. Got to bring it back here and now. And welcome to the Old Republic. This is a much larger map in the map pool, a much larger map, and likewise does have a longer rush distance by ground as well. So if we did want to open up economically, this is a map where it makes sense. It does make sense to go for a faster CC, and it looks like both players are. Single gas out of Percival, single gas out of ByuN. Both players going for economic starts, both players going for slower starts. Okay. So let's slowing things down here in game 3. Now, when it comes to the Old Republic, the map itself is large, that is true, but the bases are exposed. Specifically, the 4th base. The 4th base is very exposed on this map. I don't know how applicable that's going to be for TvT. I mean, depending on how active we are, I mean, it can be quite difficult to defend said 4th bases, so we'll see how our players will approach that. For now, though, we're opening up. And I can see a world where we can just chill, calm down, and get into a 3-base economy. We go. So far we are opening up. We can see ByuN scanning for proxies, does scout on the right, checks in the center. Ooh, Percival, he commits. Oh, and he's gonna get shot first. Yeah, Percival, he will take the first shot to the face. ByuN will hunt him down, and Percival, he will lose the first Reaper. Rough loss here for Percival. Does he get away? He does not. Doesn't get away. Again, there's a reason why you don't move out with your first Reaper, or I should say it's just really risky to move out with your first Reaper. As ByuN, he commits in. There's a KDA charge. ByuN, he is able to manage to pull away. And behind this, third CC here for Percival, being very greedy, going for a third CC before starport. Very economic build. Meanwhile, ByuN going for the starport. So it's going to be on ByuN to recognize how greedy Percival is being and punishing him. Ah, he gets in. Yeah, he gets into the main base. He sees the command center. He confirms. He confirms the CC. He even delays it. Kills the building worker. And the Reaper is going to go down, but this was well worth it for ByuN. He scouts everything he needs to. And now he has to make a choice. Does he throw down his own third, or does he commit into a 2-base all-in? Does he try to punish, or does he try to meet him in that greed? This is where ByuN throws down a second starport. For now. Getting ready for our drop play. ByuN will soon move out with his Cyclones. And he may just react with a third CC on location, just like game 1. Oh, there it is. Third CC. Not quite on location, but it's going to be on the way after the drop. So ByuN is moving out. Again, he knows that there's pressure on him to find some damage. So he's making his way across the map. Does boost. Ooh, does get caught though. Yeah, very nice lock on here. The metamac will fall. Massive pickup. Solid read here by Percival. Very nice read, and it looks like Percival, he will come out on top of this fight as well. And ByuN has to pull out. So Percival, he knows he got scattered, so he was in position to deny a drop. Percival, he read ByuN like a book. And so far, Percival, he's on the road to his third. We are getting there. As here comes the third expansion. ByuN his own CC is just not finishing. The orbital is already done for Percival. It's already done. And from here, Percival, he should be able to take a lead. Take an economic lead. Let's go to his third. Third base is up. Gonna be able to saturate. Behind this, building up his own bio. And the game, for now, is slowing down. We'll see how active our players are going to be, and we'll see if we can find our opponents out of position. As I mentioned before, TvT is very positional based. Very positional based, whether it comes to drop play or just positioning your tanks. Sieging up in time. We could be in for a long one. We're fanning out. Fanning out our units. Percival, he's now being active. Goes for his double drop. The Cyclone will spot this. And Percival, he reacts. Thankfully, does unload in time. Percival unloads. He's looking for a way in, straight into the natural. There is a tank in position. There's a tank that's further back. Percival looking for another way in. Or another way. ByuN is catching up with the upgrades. Outside of that, we're still on one factory. Drop is making its way in. There is a turret in position when he gets in. Goes for the unload. ByuN trying to respond. He does have auto turrets. And is that going to be enough? Yeah, Ravens getting focused down. Oh, losing one. Losing two Ravens. Massive pickups here. 12 SCV kills. Percival gets critical damage in the main. 13 SCVs and 2 Ravens. He's not done. He's not done. Dropping in over towards the third base. Tank is exposed. And this might just be too much here. Losing a tank, losing more workers. Missile stock goes off. Final Raven goes down. 0 Ravens left. Never got to disable. Never got to disable. Dropping back in, and ByuN is just pulled apart. He's just being pulled apart here. Again, it was just a rough start for ByuN. He's playing with a worse economy, and with that, Percival, he just overwhelms, takes out every SCV here. 34 SCV kills. And we're looking to make a series out of this. We're looking to make a series. It's not going to be 3-0. Percival with the better starts. ByuN, he was just unable to keep up. Was heavily reliant on his Ravens. He'd lose everything. And Percival has a very comfortable lead. He's on 4 bases. He's on 72 workers. Up by 30 SCVs. Crazy. Oh no. Oh no. As ByuN, he does get... Okay, they spot each other. Two spot each other. ByuN unloads in time. ByuN will take the fight. He does take the fight in the end. And ByuN again, he's desperate for damage. He's desperate. And there is a world where ByuN can recover. We mentioned this previously here. In TvT, you can be down 10, 20, 30 army supply and you can still win a fight. Depending on the angle, depending on the attack itself. Here comes Percival's move out. And can ByuN deal with this? So ByuN, he's down in tanks, but he does have more marines. There's a world where he can maybe get on top of the tanks and catch them on siege. Speaking of, ByuN is the first siege up. Massive tank shots. Get tank boys go off. ByuN wins the fight. Yeah, better engage from ByuN. And Percival, he has to be careful. He has to be so careful here. ByuN, he spots the on siege. So ByuN, likewise, he rotates. That's on siege as well. ByuN, ooh, pushing into a siege tank though. This time Percival is ready. This time he was ready. And numbers-wise, ByuN shouldn't be able to keep up. I do appreciate that Percival was going for a split push. He's going for a split move out. ByuN is aware he's trying to keep up. He will leave his tanks alone. Percival scans, he sees the army. There's the on siege. ByuN has a larger marine count though. ByuN, he can take this. Yeah, he stims on in. He starts as forward, takes down the first tank, gets one. And does get the other as well. Very nice cleanup. Even catches some medevacs. Takes on 2 medevacs. The tanks, they do hold the line. Percival throwing away a lot of supply there. And ByuN, he wants to clean up. He's going to be able to. No shot. Takes down both tanks. And Percival, he's had some very rough fights here, overextending at times, misjudging some engagements. Again, Percival, he had less marines here. That's why that was a better fight for ByuN. He had less marines, he was caught on siege. Likewise, he ran into pre-siege tanks before that. And ByuN, he was, and he still is behind, by the way. He was far behind previously. But ByuN has just been trading so well. And he's just going to get 2 more tanks, or at least 1. He gets 1 more tank for free. Chasing down the medevacs. Percival throwing away too much. Ay, ay, ay. And ByuN, he could ignore this and try to push up into the planet. No, he's going to siege up. He's going to siege, but he's late to siege. Yeah, Percival does dive. And Percival, can he break this? It looks like ByuN, he barely has more marines. Pulls back to the tanks. And Percival holds. Percival, he's holding on. These 2 tanks did so much in the back line. Percival holds, he survives, but that lead that he once had, it's not as large as it once was. Percival now up, what, 4 SCVs. The army is lacking. Percival does have the better upgrades, at least currently, but +3 attack is away from ByuN. It's on the way. And again, Percival, he did so well for himself, dropping into the natural, dropping into the main base, rallying towards the 3rd. Like, he was pulling ByuN apart. He was. But the comeback is real. ByuN is stabilized at this point. He's stabilized. We can see Percival going into Mass Raven. Oh, okay. Bold move. Switching into Mass Raven style. As he's making more behind this, he's got 4, now getting into 8 Ravens. Vikings are on the way as well. No, the tanks! No! He gets 1. Does he get a tank? Oh, gets punished. Does get punished. Marines are coming from behind. A nice pick off there from Percival. But ByuN is maxed. ByuN is maxed out. Now, ByuN has a very cheap army. It's tank marine. Just purely tank marine here. It's very mobile, true. But the Raven count here that we're building up, technically Percival, he's building up a more efficient composition. He has 8, soon to be even more Ravens. So 8 Ravens, now getting some more Vikings. Percival is hunting down these Marines. Sorry, ByuN is hunting down the Marines. At the same time, ByuN is going for a massive Dune drop. There are turrets in position. ByuN, he ignores them, and 1 medevac goes down. 2 medevacs go down. Ah, this is not worth it. Yeah, this is not worth it. ByuN, he tries to siege up only 1 tank. It was a Hail Mary play, and ByuN, he will lose everything here. At the same time, he's pushing on the left-hand side, pushing into another siege tank. This time he breaks through. He tries to. Yeah, rough fight. Rough fight here for ByuN. He's throwing away a lot of supply. Does get 14 SCVs. But he threw away so much army there. And he threw away a lot of his army. He does plummet army supply-wise at least. So he cleans up. And more importantly, Percival, he's retaining this Raven count. He's making more. He's got 2 more Ravens on the way, getting up to 12. 12 Ravens. ByuN tries to commit in. Once again, though, ByuN is being outscaled. As we mentioned before, ByuN has a very cheap, very mid-tier army. Oof. And he cannot fight. Yeah, ByuN, he cannot take these fights. Oh, God. And Percival, it looks like he is doing it here. He had a lead early on. He did lose his lead initially, but he was able to tech up. You know, with his greater economy, he was able to tech up into Ravens, into Sky Terran, and just outscale ByuN. ByuN had an impressive recovery for sure, but Percival still has too much. Disables the tanks. ByuN attempting us around, but he gets spotted. "12 Ravens seems like a lot. Now we need up to 20 back." When it comes to the super late game TvT, you like mass Raven is a thing. Like getting up to, I say 20, like getting up to like maybe 18 Ravens. The reason for that, as you can see, is that the Ravens, they just anti-armor missile the Marines, so the Marines are always going to be weakened and softened up, so they can never engage into your tanks, and you can disable their opponent's tanks as well. And with auto touch, you can support. And ByuN, he knows he cannot fight this. He knows he cannot fight. Massive counterattack. Or surround. What are we going for? Oh. Here we can see ByuN trying to catch reinforcements. Does get 2 medevacs. ByuN just snaking around the army, meanwhile mass disable. Anti-armor missile goes off. Percival wedging himself in. ByuN does go for the quote-unquote base raid. ByuN takes down the planetary, but Percival is pushing towards the heart of ByuN's army, the heart of ByuN's production. Percival is pushing towards the natural, meanwhile mass marine. I mean, ByuN is getting damage done. He's breaking through. It does break through, does take down another CC. And Percival, he's not turning around. The anti-armor missile. Oh, ByuN, he cannot fight. Has to back up, has to respect the army. Oh, Liberator does arrive, but there are some Vikings. Liberator's doing what he can, gets disabled. ByuN finding more CCs. He's heavily overstimmed, but kills another expansion. Base. And more bases are going to be going down, but there is a planetary, okay. Now, can ByuN ever deal with this? With Mass Marine, he could try to rush. He's going for it. Yeah, he stims in, tries to stim forward. Nah, not enough. Not enough here. GG gets called. Percival he overwhelms, and Percival he will put a point on the board. GG. Whew. GG, well played. As we mentioned, ByuN could never fight head-on. He could never fight head-on. Percival had the superior composition with the Mass Raven. ByuN was doing the best he can to just avoid the fight. To go for counterattack after counterattack, go for base after base. It was doing some damage. It was impressive what ByuN was able to achieve despite the game state. But again, he could never engage with the main army, and eventually he had to. Eventually he had to try to make a stand at his natural. GG. GG, well played. Percival takes the game. Let's go. Let us go. And again, it was really cool to see that Percival, after taking his lead in the beginning of the game, he did extend that lead further by taking up instead of staying stuck on Bio Tank. We saw that ByuN had a really impressive comeback as ByuN was just out controlling Percival. He was just out controlling, he was out trading, just taking better and better engagements, picking off tanks, picking off marines, catching medevacs, getting into mineral lines, but everything swung in Percival's favor when ByuN dropped into the natural. Do you remember? He went for a massive, was it like a quad doom drop? It was either 4 or 5 medevacs, where he dropped into the natural in past the turrets, where he lost 2 medevacs immediately. He seized up 1 tank and he lost everything, right? He lost his supply lead at that time. He lost the army supply lead, and with that, Percival did take it from there. But here we go, we're now getting into game number 4, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the South Korean Terran, we have the Red Terran, representing Shopify, it is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran. It is Percival. Here we go. So ByuN isn't even that far behind somehow in eco. Kind of. Once again, like ByuN, because he was behind, because ByuN lost so much early on, he was stuck with a very cheap army. We kept trying to emphasize that and emphasize that kind of phrasing, where ByuN was stuck with a very mid-tier army, a very like I almost said layer tech army, if that makes sense. But a very like mid-tier army with marine tank, which has a lot of potential, has a little micro potential for sure, 100%, right? We saw him like bob and weave through the army and weave through the bases and counterattack and be as annoying as possible. Definitely can be efficient in fast hands, but could only achieve so much. But here we go. Here we go. For now, gonna be settling in. We do have a double gas opener this time out of ByuN. Meanwhile, Percival going once again for an economic opener. I'm a little bit surprised here. So if you remember, we spoke about this during Ruby Rock, where Percival went for an economic start on a very aggressive map. We're seeing that here as well. This is an aggressive map. Tourmaline, it can be very difficult to defend your natural and defend your third base. You are very vulnerable to aggression. So this is a bold move for Percival. We'll see if he can get away with it, because ByuN does open up aggressively. Ooh, as we do see the Reaper taking a lot of hits. They do trade out their SCVs, but again, ByuN CC is going to be delayed. And will ByuN lose his Reaper? He will. Okay, they trade 1-to-1. A better trade here for Percival. Percival gets the SCV, delays the CC, and kills the Reaper as well. So a nice start for Percival. The gap of 10 Ravens as well. Yeah, that heavy Raven count was crazy. I think he got up to 12, right? It was either 10 or 12 Ravens. It was insane. But again, late game TvT is all about Sky Terran. About that Sky Mech army. Like high level TvT, if we get into late game in an equivalent kind of position, as we do get a third CC, okay, does devolve into like Raven versus Raven, just like Mass Raven, or like Raven Viking BC versus Raven Viking BC. We've been there. But ByuN, his response is to go after having a bit of a rough start, fast third base. Very fast third base here by ByuN. Hoping to recover. Ooh, Loken is not broken. Just barely breaks towards the end. Percival is holding on behind this, going for his own 1-1-1. Currently, Percival, he is unaware of how greedy ByuN is being. As ByuN, he's even delaying. Oh, gee, speaking of greed, oh my god. So ByuN, he goes for a third CC before starport, then he goes for a Rax before starport as well, and then he goes for double eBay before starport. What that means here, because the starport is so heavily delayed, fast economy, fast upgrades, but there's no drop potential, right? There's nothing to drop, there's nothing to harass. For the most part, ByuN is going to be turtling up back at home, and he has no counterattack potential, no aggressive potential. He's poking with Cyclones, that's all he can really do. And if Percival, if he was aware just how late the starport was and how late the medevacs are going to be, then Percival, he would need his own third TC and he'd have to cut his own, ideally you'd cut your own corners and be greedy yourself. Percival going for a later command center, getting to stim, more Raxes. I believe Percival still has 0 eBays. Yeah, for example, he has 0 eBays here. He scans, now he sees, he's aware at least of the timing of the starports and of the command center being already done. So big scan here for Percival. Now he knows, but it's a little bit late. And now he throws down his eBays. So there's going to be a big window in time here where ByuN has the upgrade advantage of 1-1 and 2-2. Like, there's going to be a very strong 2-2 timing in the future here for ByuN. And Percival can't really stop him. Interesting reaction though. Percival going for reactor liberators. This is a way to harass across the map. Don't forget to stretch. Don't forget to stretch. Oh. Yeah, it's ByuN diving on the Cyclones. Yeah, it does just cover up on the Cyclones. They will not escape. Nice pickups. With that Percival, he has lost map control. ByuN's star base is on location. 1-1 is now done. We should be starting up 2-2 momentarily once the armory is complete. So late armory out of ByuN is delayed. And this will help Percival. It's just giving him more time. ByuN, thank God. Sees the army in position, he backs up. So ByuN pulls away at the same time. Here come the double liberators. To the natural and the main. ByuN, he cleans up the first lib. Going for the second. Where's 2-2? ByuN, he has the gas for it. He turns everything back around. Yeah, a bit of an F2. ByuN turns everything around. There we go. 2-2 now begins. But this is delayed. So there was a bit of a delay here with 2-2. It's still faster. There's still a timing, but the timing is not as crisp anymore for ByuN. Building up. Percival landing his own third base, and Percival for the most part is in position. He's in position here. ByuN confirms the third base has been taken. ByuN is still being active. Again, ByuN has map control. Let's control the map. Second factory for additional tanks. And ideally, ByuN wants to wait for 2-2, but again, he has to wait even longer than normal. Percival looking very secure. He's turtling up. Sensor tower, tank line, CC. Breaking this position is not going to be easy. But I'm sure ByuN is satisfied with just containing. You can see that ByuN already has a supply lead. What's the reason for that? Faster third base and now faster fourth as well. Like ByuN just has a superior economy, has more efficient mining. Oh, ByuN, let's be careful. Pulls away, +2 is almost done. ByuN's still a couple of seconds away from 2-2. Almost there. But again, I don't think he needs to push into this. Like, I don't think he has to try to break Percival. Just deny the fourth. Just deny the fourth base. Percival going back into Liberators. ByuN was going to be the first to max out. 2-2 is not done. We're waiting on 3-3. If at all. There we go, 3-3 is on the way. Did Percival forget +2? No shot. No, he forgot +2. +2 attack. He's pulling a ByuN. Not like this. So ByuN doesn't find a way in. So far, Percival is holding his own, and I hope he finds out soon that he's missing an upgrade here. There we go. Whew, he starts up +2, but again, very delayed. He's learning from ByuN. Ah, no. Infamously, ByuN, he's known for forgetting, I want to say specifically +3 attack, right? Infamously. Let's catch out a couple of Marines. Both armies are maxing out. Once again, Percival, he's just turtling up. He's just turtling up back at home. He is the defender. He's stuck at home. ByuN, he finds an opening. Yeah, just right down mid. Just sends it right down mid. Only one tank. Brings it down. And ByuN is just going for the kill. GG gets called. Ay, ay, ay. Despite Percival turtling up, he had most of his army here towards the fourth base, towards the third base. There was just a massive opening in the center. GG. GG, well played. ByuN, he goes for the kill. And ByuN will take the series 3-1. GG, well played. Sends it right down mid, papi. Ay, ay, ay. Again, both armies were maxed out. Percival had a comparable army. Of course, he was down in upgrades. True, he was down in upgrades. But he had a setting army. Could have definitely extended that game. Could have held his own and gotten into a longer game state. But alas, was out of position. Most of his tanks were on his fringe bases. And there was that opening right through the center. We spoke about this earlier, but this is one of the reasons why Tourmaline is a very aggressive map. It is similar to Ruby Rock. But if you noticed, this is a unique feature on Tourmaline. I kind of wish I was still in the game itself, but there is a direct path from natural to natural on Tourmaline, where there's no ramp. There's no ramp, there's no high ground, there's no sight blockers, you can just walk straight from your natural to your opponent's natural, just one direct path. And that's a rare sight. That's not often seen. Usually there's high ground, usually there's ramps, usually there's some kind of defensive, like natural terrain that helps you. But that doesn't exist in Tourmaline. Tourmaline is just a straight path. It's a straight path from natural to natural. So that position, that area in between your natural, your third and your fourth is very vulnerable. Very, very vulnerable on Tourmaline, more so than on other maps. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations here to ByuN, as ByuN will claim the series. Shout out to Percival, as he did make a series out of it. He was able to hold his own, and I'll be honest, I can see a world where Percival is able to take it to the A smash. I'm still thinking about game one. Like game one, Percival was playing so well. Percival, he was playing so well in game one. He had a nice position, a nice lead, and then ByuN clawed his way back in. He clawed his way back into game one and was able to bring it home in the end and take it from there. My heart goes out to Percival, but again, he played his heart out. He played well for himself, making it to the finals, and even in the series itself, did play well against ByuN. Again, I can see it going further when it comes to the series, but regardless, GG. GG, well played. Congratulations, ByuN. He came in as the favorite player, and he does claim the tournament, does claim the series. Congratulations. Congratulations here. If you enjoyed the broadcast, again, this is a fortnightly tournament. Every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks we do have the Turtle Tussle, and again, this is an event that we do organize, we do run. We do have our mascot, we have the turtle, but this event is not funded via our Patreon. We bring it up all the time. Our Patreon does fund most of our tournaments, not this one. This one is sponsored by a very passionate fan, a very, very passionate fan of StarCraft. Mark BT does personally fund these events, so big shout out to Mark BT for hosting and organizing and funding this tournament. This tournament is designed to be at a more NA friendly time, so similar to Pickerstar Cup. Similar, it starts earlier, it starts a little bit earlier than Pickerstar Cup, but it's meant to be more friendly towards the Americas and towards the Americas itself. You know, Canada, the US of A, Latin America as well. A little bit more friendly towards that time slot. Despite that, we still have a lot of Korean and European representation, but it's meant to be, you know, accessible here towards the NA region as well. Just as a heads up, that's why it's at this time slot as opposed to Tuna Cup, which is at a more European friendly time slots. Like, it's very difficult for players from the Americas to compete in Tuna Cup, but we have the Turtle Tussle for them instead. There we go. Just as a heads up. And again, GG, well played. Congratulations to ByuN. Shout out to Sort. It was great seeing Sort of again. Sort of, like, he's a rare sight. Sort of rarely competes. He only recently came back to StarCraft, and he did well for himself. We didn't get to see his series against Geralt, but Sort of, he played so well. He played really, really well, making it to the semifinals, 2-0 Geralt, and even in game 1 against Percival. Like, Sort of, he was also playing well, but again, just had to tighten up his early game. When it comes to Percival, if you do show any kind of weakness, then he will punish you. He will cripple you. And Percival just had really, really aggressive styles in game 1 and game 2, and eventually was able to break a Sort of early and get an early lead. Against him. It was great seeing Nice again. Nice, of course, the Taiwanese Protoss, also a retired player, did return for this. Nice, he's always a rare sight, and hey, he even took a map over Percival as well. Big shout out to Nice. Shout out to Lunacy and Rebellion. We started things off with a bang. If you only tune in at the end, I highly recommend the VODs. If you were here, you know, like, Rebellion versus Lunacy was crazy. that was an insane first round match. Rebellion and Lunacy. I do recommend the VODs. If you enjoy some nonsense PvP, some high octane, high aggression, just aping it up in PvP, that is the series to go to. That's it was beautiful, baby. It was beautiful. And with that, GG well played. Also, a big shout out to the admins working behind the scenes as well. Shout out to Kuro, shout out to Dubu as well for making sure this runs as smoothly as possible, for helping us out. Do appreciate it. And with that, if you want to support this event, you can do so via Matcherino. Matcherino in the chat. You can help boost the prize pool of this specific tournament. We don't have any codes, unfortunately, but Matcherino is there to help support the event nonetheless. So Matcherino is there. Otherwise, when it comes to the rest of our schedule, bam. Sorry, just sneezed. But we do have our weekly schedule here. We have the podcast. The podcast is going to be later on this evening. That is our weekly talk show where we talk all things StarCraft. I do have to very quickly finish the So-So interview. For those who remember, it was 4 days ago. 4 days ago, Zomrga released an interview with So-So, who was one of the OG Brood War Foreigner pro players, or just I say Brood War, my apologies, StarCraft 1 pro players. StarCraft 1 pro players. He was like a rival of Gur or Gilm. But he was a rival of Gur, and he has his own history, and it's a 2-hour long interview. Jesus. I feel a little bit sad. Like, this is a really long and in-depth interview, and one of my criticisms about these GLHF interviews has been the length of them. Like, for some of the other ones, for some of the earlier interviews, like, it feels like there's so much more to ask and so much more to inquire. Part of it is also the interviewee, right? Like, So he seems like very open, and he seems like he wants to tell his story, so he has a lot to say. So it's a little bit easier, kind of like, you know, getting the interview out of him, or getting the stories out of him as well, and just getting as much as you can. Whereas there are others that are a little bit more direct, a little bit more short of words, and it can be sometimes. I mean, it's not easy interviewing, right? It's not easy interviewing, but there are definitely some shorter interviews that I wish were a little bit more in depth, like this one, for sure. But regardless, I will have to actually catch up with that to be able to discuss it. What else are we going to be discussing during the podcast? We have, let's see, topics. Fantasy. True. Fantasy got married a couple of days ago. Fantasy, I remember I was checking Instagram, and I follow a lot of the Koreans, and they were all posting their stories at a wedding, and I was like, wait, what's going on? It was like Creator, I think Armani as well, and some of the others. I was like sifting through, and it was like, oh, Fantasy got married a couple of days ago. So big shout out to Fantasy to get married. We had the esports award that Tastosis achieved. Koga's a Bappy, true, and of course tournament results as well, with SC Evo, with all the Open Cups, OSC. Again, we talk all things StarCraft. So if you maybe haven't heard of it, we've been running the podcast for years at this point, every single week. you know, SC2 talk show, or SC2. I say talk show nowadays. It's more of like a wrap-up show. We just talk all things StarCraft that occurred this week. So tournament results and any news and adjacent news as well. I do recommend checking out our last week's podcast. We did discuss pretty in depth the miniatures game that's coming out, talking about the miniatures game, the rule sets that they've released. They had a big 2-hour AMA. And there was a lot of content in that AMA, and I also discussed like some of my concerns regarding it as well. For those who don't know, I think as a bit of a teaser, and again, I do recommend listening to the podcast, and if you're interested in miniatures games and war games in general. But I was expressing some concerns and just some just to be careful when it comes to getting into it initially, just because they announced that they're going to be releasing their starter sets and they're going to be releasing a couple of units initially at launch, and you can of course play the game at launch and you can construct your army, and there's like a supply cap with how much your army can be, right? Like say 200 supply cap. I think they use a point system, but like think of it in your mind as like 200 supply. And the problem that I found is that if you wanted to play with your friends and play like a 200 supply game, you would have to buy a bunch of like base units that they release at the start of release. And the problem is that their release set is every 2 months. So in 2 months time, they're going to release like the Hydra. 2 months after that, they're going to be releasing the Viper. 2 months after that, they release like the Firebat or the Hellbat, for example. And it means that if you spend too much money too early on, you're going to be stuck with a bunch of like useless, or a bunch of like a bunch of units, a bunch of models that don't really serve any purpose. So you have to be careful with how you approach it, and it means that you're going to be punished if you do want to play max out armies at the start. I do advise, if you're going to get into the miniatures game, to wait like a couple of months, if not a year. Like it might be wise to just wait a year, wait for more models and more units to be released before like committing to like constructing a proper army. Otherwise you're going to be stuck with a bunch of units that you're not going to use in the long run, like because you buy too much to make an army, and then they release like more units over time that you want to replace them with. So there's a lot to get into. Again, it was really in depth. There was like a 2-hour AMA, and there was a lot of discussions to be had. So definitely a lot to get into there, but yeah, do check it out. Do consider checking it out. Again, the podcast over on YouTube, !socials in the chat. Check us out over on YouTube. We are live every single day, multiple times a day. As you can see, we have a really intense schedule, really intense. So you can check it out there. Another good cup. Yes. Este DB. Big shout out. See you in 7 hours. True. But if you want to follow us, you can follow us on YouTube, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all things Cranky Ducklings. We do upload on YouTube on a daily basis, and we stream on YouTube as well. Again, we have all the content. We're going to be live during the podcast. Again, that's going to be in around 6.5 hours time. We also have Kung Fu Cup. Kung Fu Cup is also on Friday. I might adjust our schedule. I'll be honest, I've been really fatigued these past couple of days. I've barely been sleeping. I'm going to try to nap at the moment. I'm going to try to nap and get some rest. But I might adjust the schedule tomorrow, and we might move some things around. We'll see. But yeah, it's been a pretty intense schedule with a lot of casts this week. A lot of casts. Kung Fu Cup and Tuna Cup, of course, on Sunday. So if you enjoyed, consider following us. Again, we cast more StarCraft than anyone else out there. We have the most intense schedule, Pappy, and it is nice to get some sleep every now and then. So I'm just going to go nap. I'm going to go nap for a couple of hours before getting ready for the podcast. Otherwise, thanks for watching. And a big shout out to Paul the Dutch in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for 5 months. Thank you, Pappy. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Thank you for the support. And stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. So give them some love. Give them some support. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. See you next time. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, Papi. Ciao. Hasta luego. See you next time.